Off top, I got a special returning guest for y'all. I'm going to let my off top give you a little hint. So, the largest margin for victory in the history of professional NFL football is between two franchises. One of them was Washington. The other was the Chicago Bears. Play the music.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.
Welcome to the Domonique Foxworth Show. Jason Goff has returned. One of these teams lost by 73 points back in 1940. Do y'all know which one it was?
Good to see you too, Dominique. Good to see you too. You know,
I do.
Charlie, good to see you too, brother. I'm tired of people bringing. I mean, you started this trend. Bomani continues it. I'm tired of people bringing me on just to laugh at my misery and pain. I know the 73-0 game. Don't get it twisted, but I mean, you know what it is. You know why you do this. You know,
it's not misery and pain. Today is a great day.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, the birth of Nova and also the rebirth of your franchise. Like, what are we doing? This is a good day. I knew it was your day when I was walking on the street. I text Charlie, like, we should have Jason Goff today. And then the next thing that happened was an old black man came up to me and introduced himself. Hey. And when we stopped talking, he said, all right, young brother, stay black. And gave me the fist. And I was like, I can't. I mean, this is a sign from God.
That's a leopard. That's like a black leprechaun walking up on you with a pot of gold. Whenever a brother tells you to stay black, he knows that, you know, either you're in jeopardy of not or you're never going to be in jeopardy. It's one or the other.
I got to say, if someone walked up to me in D.C. the last couple of days and told me to stay white, I'd find that very concerning.
Oh, yeah. Especially the last couple of days.
Or you'd be getting out of jail. You know,
that's a good point.
I was downtown on inauguration day because I had to come here. I wasn't down there for any choice of my own. I was downtown because I had to go to the train station, and it was pop. Hey, you better get that. You better loosen them lips up,
hey, Charlie.
Jason.
Charlie, that's the universal black sign of I bet. Nah, what you talking? Yeah. It's cool. You know what I mean?
It's a word that you can't say followed by please is what that face means.
Or hey, you never know in this new world. Maybe it's gonna be okay.
Maybe you can say it. Charlie would never. No. Charlie would
unless
never.
There's a rap song on. But what we got? How y'all feeling, man? Everything good? Looking good, hey, Charlie. You looking like you're looking like a million. Yo, Dominique is always looking fresh.
I'm feeling great because I have an off middle for you. There's actually the largest gap between skill of number 1 and number 2 overall pick quarterbacks happened in the 2024 NFL draft.
If this is where you want to start, it's cool. You know, I am sleep deprived. I'm in that role where you can't be angry at anything because you didn't have the baby, right? So like, if this is what you want to do, Charlie. I have a bunch of insults I can send to your phone. We can get it on.
I can't. This is a problem I have right now. Dominique has pushed me to be confident for the last 2 years. He's got to get some DB in you. I got a little bit too much DB in me now.
I mean, listen,
a little too much cornerback in me.
You got to do what you can while you can, because when you've been
next
rooting
15
for,
years of NFC championships,
poverty friend. When you've been rooting for poverty franchises the way that you and I have for a very long time, and 85 is a long time ago for me. I was 5 years old. What was it, 92 for you with the ripping boy? Like, you wasn't even alive then. So, you know, it is what it is. But I'm a big fan of Jaden Daniels. He has made me a lot of money over the course of this season. Shout out to that Atlanta-Washington game during the season, one of the best games of the year. He got off. He did his thing for me. I watched what he did against Baker Mayfield and tried to sling it over them mountains. And then next thing you know, Jaden does his thing. And then he goes into Detroit. And for all the people who sent me all the messages about Jared Goff, there's this, running joke that people like to play. Oh, look at your cousin. He out here looking terrible. It's fine. I think Jared needs to work on his tackling. I didn't know he was going to get 45 points. I know the pick six hurt. Should have been called back. But, hey, Jaden Daniels is on a ridiculous run. If Caleb Williams had the offensive line, had Cliff Kings. Yeah, I'm here now. If Caleb, yes, sit back and relax. Take it in.
If he had Cliff Kingsbury. All right, no, go ahead.
Hey,
fire.
Shane Waldron and Thomas Brown. Both of them don't have jobs as play callers as we sit here today. The other one is going to the NFC Championship. Anytime, like I've been saving this up because I was looking forward to seeing y'all at the Foxworth Live show. You know what I mean? AKA the Black McAfee show that we was gonna put on out here. Okay, we had the whole crew. I saw Himbo, I saw Greeny, I saw Bomani in his $1,000 hand sewn jacket. Like, you know, I was sitting there. I was a little verklempt, and then I realized, oh, my baby's coming, so it's all good. But get it off though, Charlie, because you never know.
Nah,
You've
man,
been here before with Robert Griffin III, so
Nah,
get it off.
No. It's different.
Oh, of course. That's what they all say before rehab.
There's no gimmicks with this.
Look, you know what's so funny? You know what's so, and I know we're gonna get into it. You know what we are, Charlie, and Dominique can attest to this because he's been an athlete. He's been one of the superior beings all of his life. But those of us who are truly invested with really the least amount of skin in the game when it comes to like owners and players and agents, those of us who are truly invested, we have to tell ourselves this is different. You know, it's kind of, and I liken it to the Ben Johnson hiring. It's kind of like when if you got a cousin or a sister or an aunt or maybe your mama who constantly walks through the door with a loser, right? You have to say to yourself, this is going to be different. This is the time that's going, and then after a while, those relationships wear on her to where she turns into the loser, right? So you have to tell yourself this time is going to be different. Oh, he bought me a transformer for Christmas this time.
Oh,
you know,
God.
Uncle Rick is going to stick around for a long time. I think you have to tell yourself it's going to be different.
Oh,
I understand.
So,
Charlie.
The last show I did was taken over by Charlie Kravitz, and this show is clearly going to be the Jason Goff show. So I'm fine with it. I'm good to not work. Just make sure them checks keep coming.
I just gotta ask.
We miss you too, man.
When you saw Jaden Daniels literally drop a throw, and it just teardropped into De'Ami Brown's arms after he was blinded by that defensive back, that Lions defensive back, clear PI.
Without question.
I mean, one of the most egregious cases. Like, but you thought to yourself for a second, you were like, I wish I had that guy as my quarterback.
You know, no, and listen, I like to tell my wife this and my family this. I don't covet anyone's life. Okay?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's nice.
I can't because I'm too blessed. You know what I mean? I live in the third market in the country. I've had a long-standing broadcasting job, doing the things that I love with teams that I sometimes hate. But in the end, I'm gonna be okay. You know, Michael Jordan is the world's, but he was mine first. Right?
Yeah.
We got 3 Stanley Cups in recent memory. The White Sox had the worst season of all time, and no one cared about it. You know what I mean? The Cubs doing whatever they need to do. Things ebbs and flows, Charlie. You know, I understand being in D.C., you've got Alex Ovechkin and the memory of John Wall. And other than that, you've got to, you got to find your way. I understand, baby.
So Charlie, I'll let you retort at some point, but I have to say, when your defense of your town and your life start with 3 Stanley Cups in recent history, I would say, bro, that's a tough start.
And I'm gonna cry in the car, right? But in front of y'all, I'm not going. Yeah, I'm still a man. Like I'm not gonna let Charlie talk crazy to me in his lavender.
That's the difference. It's like I saw when you started talking to Charlie, I saw Charlie have a little second thought. But he bounced back. You didn't flinch. There was no flinch.
Here's the thing is when you pass on Patrick Mahomes and then you pass on baby goat Patrick Mahomes too in Jaden Daniels. That's you gotta cope. See? There's some cope. I mean, look,
I missed you at NABJ because you didn't want to come through.
Yeah.
And then Nova took me away from meeting you. Don't worry, Charlie. We gonna chop it up.
We gonna
get together. But yeah, it's been tough, Charlie. It's been tough.
Look. We should get to the Bears part of it. I had to.
Oh man!
Now that I have champagne taste, now that I'm a winner, I had to peacock around for a little bit. But we should. We should talk about
How
the
long,
Bears.
man, Dominique? Now
You said okay.
We got
before we get
to
to this.
mute up Charlie now. How long is this going to be allowable?
Ooh,
You don't
I'm
want
never
to.
going to stop it.
You don't
I'm
want to.
never going to stop it. You think that hold on. In this America, you think that I
You're right.
am gonna tamp down
You're right.
the ostentatious white? No, I'm riding that to the top. Talk your Charlie.
I'll tell you one thing.
Nothing opens more doors than a white man with an ego.
Ooh.
What are you talking about?
Okay, so now that we've heard from Snoop Foxworth, I want to know, Charlie, how long?
No, what you don't understand is I'm gonna be riding him to the championship.
You're right.
I'll tell you one thing.
I'm not gonna be full blocking. Not gonna be clearing the way. You can't call me Snoop. Oh, no.
I'll tell you one thing is you probably don't want to hear from me once we beat the Philadelphia Legals next week.
Seriously though, on a serious note, hey, Jaden Daniels, man, like from the people that I know around that Arizona State situation that he was at, it's like, hey, by the way, that's the real deal. This is Tempe or wherever the hell they play. And he went down to LSU and he played against them boys and won the Heisman. And his slim stature and all the knocks, like, oh, he's built like Ryan Tannehill. I'm like, well, guess what? His moxie, his arm, and everything else ain't built like Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, like he sat there and put up 20 some odd points in the first half and was like, hey, what we doing after the game? He looked like he was unbothered. The cat is Terry McLaurin. I'm so happy that he's finally getting the shine that he deserves. Right, he's been one of the more underrated wide receivers in the game. So man, I'm happy. And anybody that gets close to Magic Johnson is destined to either win or spend all the money in the world trying to win. So I'm down with it, man. You should be puffing your chest out right now. I understand.
It's also just like this, and we can move off this, but
you don't want to. We don't have to.
It's
our show, Charlie. We can sit in this. I like
this moment for so long.
You got to realize, like, the DC great athletes of my time were the most unserious losers. Like, this is the thing is, like, it was Gilbert Arenas, and then that was the most fun DC team of my lifetime. Then it was RG3's all in for week 1 and feuding with Shanahan's. Then it was John Wall and Bradley Beal saying LeBron was scared of him and that they were a better backcourt than Steph and Clay. And you just had to put your head in your hands and be like, I cannot believe I'm rooting for these guys, but I have to. And you're like, we're never going to win anything. We have like the most immoral, evil loser in Daniel Snyder taking over this city and making it like the worst franchise ever. And it's like, then 1 year you just get a normal guy who's this great, this early, who's exceeded expectations, and he's just normal and awesome. And we love Jaden Daniels, and he's
Tell him what you said on the phone this morning. Chocolate City is back, Charlie. That's what you said.
I didn't know it was going. Hey, when we gonna get a table at Stadium? Huh? What we talking about?
We're gonna get that approved immediately.
Yeah. What color foam posits we wearing to the
foam posits?
Oh my! I got it. I had the black and white foam posits, and then I used different color highlighters to color in the bubbles. I think I was in like sixth grade. Travel.
The copper ones and the Northern Light ones, I still have those. I mean, you just playing Wale mixtapes back to back right now. Like you having a ball right now.
Uptown roaming.
He's listening to Go-Go Sexy Lady.
Hey. Nah, it's a party.
Using highlighters to color your sneakers is the most sixth grade boy I ever heard in my life.
That's exactly right.
Or white. We can say it like we're supposed to. Like,
no. I feel like I know some dudes who took some color pencils to their clothing because they couldn't afford the colors that they wanted.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you did it. Couldn't afford it because I had them.
Oh no. Okay. That was gonna get that ass beat. Don't be painting on these shoes that I bought for you.
Yeah. Listen, it's a different time, and Charlie deserves this time. I am looking forward to what's going to happen against the Philadelphia Eagles because the person that I wanted to be a Chicago Bear ended the game in the Rams-Eagles game. So I'm looking forward to seeing the meeting of Jalen Carter and that tissue paper offensive line that we call the Commanders when the NFC Championship rolls around. I'm looking forward to seeing what that Commanders defense has for Saquon. I'm on a mission and I'm in this to win this Barkley. I'm looking forward to seeing A.J. Brown pull up in a Honda Civic like, Jeff Van Gundy style. Like, I'm looking forward to Marshawn Lattimore, as we call him, French for toast. I'm looking forward to seeing Frenchie out there on the island by himself against Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown. You know what I mean?
I'm looking forward to Jalen Hurts targeting A.J. Brown one time for 5 yards while he's open the entire game, because that's what he does.
All we do is win. I said all we do is win in Philadelphia, okay? Because now I'm going to root against
you and Joel Embiid.
What's going to happen? This is how the Tebow thing happened, where it wasn't that we didn't like Tebow. It was the people that were around Tebow that you're going, and I didn't know that this was in me, but you're going to make me root against this brother now. Like,
that's how I became a Dak fan. Like, this is because it was like, oh, Lord, y'all try to say that Wentz is better than Dak? There is something afoot. It's crazy. And I'm addressing it.
Crazy. Nah, Jade is the truth, man. You deserve it. You deserve it.
Yeah, it's nice. I appreciate it. I'm sorry to have to experience this, but it's nice to not be on the receiving end of Charlie's vitriol when I was on Jaden Daniels before him, and then he hopped on a bandwagon afterwards.
You were trolling me. Here's what Dominique did.
I was not trolling you.
There's 5 seconds left. They're playing the Bears. They have a 65-yard Hail Mary. I have my head in my hands. I'm peeking through my fingers, and Dominique's like, he's gonna complete this. Don't you believe in Jaden Daniels' magic? He wanted to get my hopes up to crush my dreams, and then he completed it. Okay. And he was like, I called it. He was gonna complete it.
If that's not true, but if that's how you want to remember it, that's fine.
A lot of things coming out in the Discovery right now, Dom. I'm just being real with you.
No. The problem is when you got loser ears, you hear loser.
That's right.
I was holding it down for my man. I was like, come on. It don't serve you nothing to be out here all negative. So you want to be on the wrong side of it? Wouldn't you rather believe it's going to happen and be disappointed? But no, when you're a damn loser and you lose all the damn time, you don't want your heart broken. So you're like, we just going to lose again. And then they won. Because I'm a winner.
And then Tyreek Stevens was like, I got both of y'all. We good. We good.
Yes. Loser ears.
Oh, man.
Is that gonna be the name of that'll be the title of the pod? Loser ears.
All right,
what's that?
Ben Johnson.
Oh, man.
Okay, Ben Johnson.
How you feeling?
And what are expectations that you think are fair for him and the Bears and Caleb and all this stuff?
So you're talking about Bears expectations or realistic NFL expectations, because they're two different things. There have been very few times, and I talked about this on my pod, there have been very few times as a Chicago sports fan, never mind a Bears fan, that we have experienced this is the person that everybody wants or enough people want to make this name, not just recognizable, but impactful. And then the Bears or, insert Chicago sports team here either signs that person, trades for that person, hires that person. You know how long as a Chicago sports fan, the summer of LeBron, next thing you know, we start talking about David Lee and Carlos Boozer. Okay? There's drafts where I've sat down. I hosted a draft show with Matt Bowen, former NFL safety, used to do great work at ESPN. And we sat down in a conference room waiting for Melvin Ingram or somebody to come off the board, people that we actually saw play football. And the next thing you know, Shea McClellan's name was called. Throughout the tenure of Bears football, there's been a person that should be drafted, a person that you should go out and get, a person that you should sign or hire as the head coach, and it goes to So for the first time in a very long time, maybe ever in my Bears life, the person that everybody talked about as being the guy, Mike Vrabel, we already knew what time that was.
Yeah.
Gerard Mayo was like, all right, y'all, you ain't even got to tell me. It's cool. It's cool. We knew what time that was, right? He was pretty much off the market the moment he was on the market. The fact that Ben Johnson surveyed the landscape and actually went in, and I said this on my pod because I heard that he had done this in his interview and said, hey, to hell with all the questions you got for me. What's the reason that your franchise hasn't been successful lately? You tell me your faults. You tell me what's wrong. Now, I don't suggest that the fellas out there in the dating game start a conversation like that, relationship-wise. But if it was accepted and if it could start like that, that's how you start a relationship. You find out, and I always say, you find out what a person's basement is because you're going to have to live in it at some point. And Ben Johnson came in, said, hey, what's going on here? And us here as observers, I was on record. Hey, if Ryan Poles had to go so he could come, then that's what it had to be, right? If somebody had to move around in this sea of ineptitude so that dude could captain the ship, I'm down with it. And this is the other thing, too. If the Bears go out here and win 3 games the next 2 years, nobody could point to the fact that, wow, we shouldn't have took this guy, or this guy shouldn't have been the hire, because everybody across the landscape has said this is the guy. And more importantly for me, if he lives up to his expectations, I don't have to worry about him being hired by somebody else to get a head coaching job. If they would have went out and got a defensive coordinator and then had a Ben Johnson type of play caller on their staff, in 2 or 3 years, Caleb Williams, if he was successful as Jaden Daniels has been this year, but if he was as successful as that guy has been, then all of a sudden that guy gets a new job. Now you get to strap that dude to your back and say, hey, man, for the next 6-7 years, we rolling. An Andy Reid type of vibe, right? So it's a huge day. It's a huge day here in the city. But at the same time, we go back to the loser analogy. You know when your sister can't pick nobody. And you also know when your sister brings somebody in the crib, it's like, hey, man, you sure you want to do this, fam? Like, you look at the guy like, I have not met you yet. Yeah. I don't know you. We just played a game of Madden.
Oh,
we
man.
had a drink together. You seem cool. You sure you want to
You don't know what you're in for.
Yeah.
I remember all of these feelings before we had Jaden.
Are you a nice little trip down memory lane? 1 year ago,
right?
You were feeling like this.
I love it.
6 months ago,
and look at
10
what the
weeks
NFC
ago.
is turning into, though. Look at what the NFC is turning into. The NFC North has what, 3 of the best 5 coaches maybe in the entire conference in the division. In Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell and Matt LaFleur. Now Ben Johnson gets to throw his name in there, and on top of that, he didn't run from the smoke. Right? He could have went and been a Raider. He could have went and been a Jaguar. He said, I'm going to stay in division with 3 guys who are Coach of the Year candidates, and I'm going to beat the So
I like it.
I'm down,
I like
man.
it.
I'm
I
down.
like this. I like this. This is so first of all, Full Go Podcast is where you can go.
Yep.
And one of the great things about having Jason on is Jason does his own podcast. So he just do it here. And I don't have to say nothing. It's like the man just ran through the whole conversation. And it's also great because I feel the opposite. You said something nice about Charlie Kravitz's team, so he's not gonna push back. I don't love this hire, bro. Like, I get the reason why you do it. Because you're right, he was the guy that everybody wanted. He was the big name for a couple of seasons. He's been an offensive coordinator for 3 years with a team that had all the weapons in an incredible offensive line. And on top of that, to me, you hire a head coach to be a head coach, and you hire somebody to manage your quarterback. I don't have to look very far just to my good friend Charlie Kravitz to see a situation where they hired a head coach with head coaching experience who's defensive minded. Then they hired a offensive coordinator with a lot of experience to focus on their young quarterback. So I worry about hiring the offensive guru play designer because he's not going to be able to out-design his way to a championship. He's going to have to lead this team. And also, it's real easy to draw up plays when can't nobody get past your tackles.
Right.
Like, it's real easy to time it up when you are averaging 6 yards a carry. So I guess I don't know that the things that that Ben Johnson is good at, that I know that he's good at, I don't know that they will translate. The things that he needs to be good at, I'm not sure if he's good at. And so it feels kind of like a gamble, but I guess hiring a coach is always a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, no, I completely understand everything that you're saying. Domonique, for the last 44 years of my life, I've been rooting for running backs and middle linebackers, brother. Okay. So when you talk about your systems and what are in place for normal NFL franchises, I don't give a about any of that. I would like to see, play design that wows me. I would like, and by the way, Ryan Poles got to draft somebody, right? Like
Yeah.
the 58 in Detroit is a little different than the 58 in Chicago. Darnell Wright, people love him at the right
Yeah.
tackle spot. I wanted Jalen Carter, and I've said it so many times. He's a good player, but now it's time to figure out, like, to me, when you drop truth tellers in your locker room, you find out, you kind of get to do a little exfil on, like, okay, who's here that shouldn't be here, right? Like when a Rajon Rondo comes into a Bulls locker room, you find out, there's been people here that's been bullshitting, and this is the guy who's just not for the bullshit, right? When Ben Johnson comes, now you get to find out if Ryan Poles, with all that, we gonna take the North and never give it back, all that mumbo jumbo and all that, stone face. And next thing you know, you're sitting there firing coaches, you're firing coordinators during the middle of the season. Now you get to strip back a little bit of that armor and go, okay, what are you now? You got your coach. So I'm about the next stages and next steps of this thing. You're talking about franchises that have been successful and have done this the right way. I'm sitting here at the Mom and Pops. You talking about Target, okay? You talking about big box store, kind of franchise situations. I just want to see 28 points a game, fam, and then we can work backwards and try to figure out what the defense and leadership of men and all this other gobbledygook means.
Two things. One, I love that you went back to the Rajon Rondo 3 alphas and that the
you remember
the
how silly that was.
Oh, he also walked in that locker and was like, immediately went at Wade, being like, "This guy, this is the guy." But
it wasn't wrong, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he got a trip back to Miami. But I do have to ask. So obviously, I was messing around about Caleb. He's preposterously talented. I think it's fair to say that this year, in totality, was disappointing because of how polished he was and the way the season ended. But he showed. I mean, he had like a 3-week stretch where it was like 300 yards a game, and he was eviscerating worse teams. But he's got every tool imaginable to be incredibly creative. We now have a play caller who is able to elevate Jared Goff significantly. So how much of the expectations are tied to just getting Caleb Williams to play well?
98% of them. If Caleb Williams plays well, and I'm glad you mentioned Jared Goff because it's going to sound crazy. And I know, somebody might clip it up or put it in quotations. I'm looking for Ben Johnson to turn Caleb Williams' Jared Goff up, right? I'm looking for him to have him not be maybe so skittish. And I know he got sacked 60 bajillion times, but we know what he can do outside the play. We know what he can do off schedule. We know what he can do when there's havoc and there's things happening there around his feet and he gets out of the pocket and he scrambles and he makes a play. Like we understand the it factor stuff and we see it. We saw it for 17 weeks, right? This man played every game, by the way, behind that offensive line. Like, so we don't have to question certain things about toughness and raw talent. But with what he did with Jared Goff was, hey, man, you a surgeon. We're going to make this a nice little operating room for you. We're going to make this nice and easy, and we're going to have some fun with it, pop some crazy plays every once in a while. Shout out to Jameson Williams, and shout out to Bomani for what he said about Ben Johnson and not wanting Ben Johnson because he trusted someone in that moment. Some of it's tongue-in-cheek, I understand, but a lot of it is real.
I made the same point where it's like, the man who was just humping the ground, the man who demonstrated that he has poor judgment, we going to ask him to make a decision? Yeah, it was for a person like me and a person like Bomani who both have pretty reasonable judgment. When I see you give a person with bad judgment the power to make decisions, I'm like, wait, what?
But come on,
that desperate?
The world celebration ruled.
Well,
we all agree, right? It was hilarious.
I'm here for the fun, dog. I'm here for the fun.
No, I would say he didn't even get penalized. The best part about the celebration was that I recognized that feeling because he's that friend. No, not the feeling he was doing. The feeling.
Yeah. Charlie, I about to get some behind the scenes Ravens practices. We're all the same. Domonique in the south end zone humping the ground again.
No, I'm saying that I'm assuming that we are all the rat. Actually, Charlie, I see some pictures of Charlie in college. Charlie might have been the one that they had to go get.
Oh, yeah.
But
no, I was the responsible one, which is the crazy part.
But I saw the teammates run over there and grab him, and I recognized like, oh,
He's the one.
they know that he's the most fun. He gonna bring him to the party. The ladies gonna like him, but they also know that they got to keep an eye on him because he might punch a bouncer. You never know what he gonna do. He might punch a bouncer, and then we brawling with 365 dudes. So
punch a bouncer, you bring him to the house party, he might punch your puppy. He like,
yeah,
he one of them cats where it's like, hey, you ain't got no small dogs, do you? Because J-Mo, he get, once that oil get in him, next thing you know, he get a little sideways.
Either one where you when you call your friends talk about we about to go do something, they're like, J-Mo coming? That changed the calculus. Changed the calculus.
That's when I knew I was doing better for myself. When the dudes who I used to go out with would be like, hey, Jay, you ain't want to take me there, bro. That, I want to of your thing. That's when I was like, you know what? Respect. I'm going to drop off a 12-pack of Heineken on the way. And then, all I need Ben Johnson to do, Charlie, to get back to your question, all I need Ben Johnson to do is clean up the things that Caleb Williams saw for the first time. And, hey, man, he had mechanics teaching him how to do surgery for an entire year. Now you get a real professional who says, hey, this is what you're looking for. This is what you're looking at. This is the anticipatory throws that we need you to make. You've got the arm talent to make them. And also, Caleb struck me as a dude who, if he don't trust you, he's going to try to figure it out by himself. You got a guy now who, for the last couple of years, has led the league's best offense with Jared Goff. And say what you want about Jared Goff, but he was essentially thrown away so that the Rams could go win something. And he played like, and I know this is going to ruffle some feathers, but he played like a top 5 NFC quarterback. He played like one for the last couple of years under this guy. The results are the results. So if you want to tell me that you knew that Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to be this, if you knew that Sam Laporta, and Sam was dope at Iowa, because that's what they do is pump out those tight ends. But
they do.
Man, if you're going to tell me that all
tackles.
these people were in line to do this, Jahmyr Gibbs is phenomenal. He's a phenomenal. Like Brad Holmes ain't coming through that. He ain't walking through that door, right? Yeah. But if I find out that, okay, now we need to turn Cole Kmet into something else, or we need to turn DeAndre Swift into something else, or Keenan Allen, it's time to go. You've been hat-fishing people for 10 years. It's time for you to walk out that. Like, if there's certain things that you need to know, I hope Ben Johnson is the truth teller that you drop in this locker room so you can find it out. And that's what I'm looking forward to as well. We saw the awkward, walk into the building and everybody's sitting there clapping. I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, they did this for the last dude. Like let's get right to the football, man. Your family's beautiful. Go up there in the press conference and say all the goofy stuff about beating the Packers. It's kind of like all these people who still mad at Ohio State because they lost to Michigan and they want to fire Ryan Day, but they just happen to win the national title on the way. Get all the pomp and circumstance out the way. Lock in with Caleb Williams for the next 5, 6, 7 years, and let's meet those Commanders in the NFC Championship for the next 2 or 3.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
I would love to see that. That'd be a lot of fun. The clapping, it's funny that you brought up the clapping. I just saw Jeff Saturday before I walked in here, and he complained about it too. I'm like, why? Like, it's a big moment for the guy. They celebrating my guy. Like, let him clap for my guy. But you just I ain't with all that. Get to work.
In the immortal words of Hannibal Lecter, you look like a rube. Okay, like this is a big city. Let's act like it. This ain't Chuck E. Cheese. This ain't no birthday party. Oh, look at the next guy that we can't wait to stab in the back and force out the door.
Gosh.
Like, come on, man. Let's get to it.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I am too, man.
I'm looking forward to it,
man. I'm geeked.
I hope it works out.
Look at me. I got my Bears. I never wear sports paraphernalia. I got my Bears hat on. I'm excited, man. I got my baby. Like, this is life is decent right now. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm sure the Bulls will ruin my day at some point, but it is what it is. The winter. It's -6 degrees here in Chicago, and you see the smile on my face. Like, it's sunny. It's balmy outside, man. We good over here. We good. It could be worse. I could be in D.C.
Yeah. I mean, you could be in D.C. where there are tanks in the streets right now.
Yeah. It's literally.
Well, get ready. A whole new world
That was a positive song. Jasmine was telling us about the New World. Or was it Aladdin?
We have to we have to stay positive. You know,
You
like
know what
I mean,
it
at the end
feels
of the
like,
day, Dominique, you know, we black. Like so,
What was that?
we had to figure it out anyway.
What was that song? The song when they was it wasn't Get Out. It was the next Jordan Peele movie where they slowed the song down and it went from being
I got five on it.
Yeah. It went from being a happy song to being a
song.
scary
Yeah.
song. I feel like we should slow down A Whole New World. Put some bass under that thing.
Yeah. Well,
and promo the Chicago Bears upcoming new season.
hey man, I hooped with Zaytoven when I was in Atlanta. I can get him on the track. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to it.
There we go. That'd be a whole new world for the North because these boys got a coach and a quarterback.
I'm happy. I'm excited, man. I'm excited, and all the Charlie Kravitzes of the world will do nothing to diminish that excitement as we march towards the off season. It's going to be an active off season here in Chicago. I'm looking forward to it, baby.
So speaking of the NFC North, another NFC North team. So like the Lions, not saying their window's closed by any means. They are going to return the vast majority of their roster. They're going to return Dan Campbell. And that roster, when it's healthy, is fantastic. It was awesome when they weren't totally healthy. Their offense was still amazing, but they've lost Ben Johnson. By the time you're listening to this, they will have probably lost Aaron Glenn. It is not official yet. He was interviewing with the Jets, and they quote unquote didn't want him to leave the building, according to Ian Rappaport. But how much does losing both coordinators affect the Lions Super Bowl window to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think losing Glenn is more important than losing Ben Johnson to me. This is like I'm biased towards defensive coaches for a lot of reasons, and I think also there's something about playing defense that requires a bit more emphasis on emotional intelligence and culture and aggressiveness, and I think that him as a general in the Dan Campbell Army is something that's not easily lost, and he obviously was asked to do more this year because of their defense starting out with less talent than their offense, and then getting to a point where they were taking guys off the street and starting them. And so, like, that was asking a lot of them. The situation on the other side of the ball was very different. And I think having had a successful offense for a few years in a row and not losing those pieces, it feels to me like they can continue that, more likely to continue that without Ben Johnson. And they'll probably keep some of the staff there. And I know Ben Johnson doesn't take credit for the trick plays. Not that I think that's the difference, but like a lot of the play design is, I would guess some of it's going to stay there. So I'd be more worried about Aaron Glenn, but I guess losing both of them is probably the most challenging thing to do.
Worry, I think, is a strong word. I got to be honest with you. We're gonna find out because I mean, it's up to Dan Campbell, right? This is what people I think lose when we talk about head coaching hires or coaches in general. You got to know how to evaluate what your team needs when it's time to hire your staff. Brad Holmes is going to continue to draft players, and if he continues to knock it out the park in the later rounds, or the end of first rounds, the end of second rounds, because they're going to be good over the next couple of years, then I think they'll be fine. But it seemed like a perfect harmony with those two coordinators. I mean, I really feel like this Commanders game was the first game where I was like, oh yeah, Aiden Hutchinson ain't on the field, right? Like we had one of your top corners breaks his forearm, like.
Yeah,
we talk about
brutal.
we talk about all the attrition that an NFL season provides, and then all of a sudden we get there, it's like, oh, they've been coaching off, right? They've been coaching off for a good 6-7 weeks now, and allowed them to be put in that position, and then they ran up against, shout out to my baby, but they ran up against a supernova and Jade Daniels, and next thing you know, they're out of there. So I think it's, how much do you trust Dan Campbell to evaluate what his team needs in the coaches that he's getting ready to hire or elevate in his own staff? But I trust Brad Holmes. I trust him. That we talk about the coaches in the NFC North. They got 2 or 3 of the best GMs in the NFC in that division as well. So I wonder.
I think the Brad Holmes drafting well is definitely a real thing, but also I think understanding how to use players is a huge thing also. And there are other places where you can draft well and you hand them over to people who don't know what they're doing, and all of a sudden those great draft picks turn into useless players. So I think that should be something to be concerned about. But a team, this is not a surprise. So that they're losing these coordinators. Like, they almost lost them last year. Mm-hmm. So they should have a plan. Like, it shouldn't come out of nowhere. Like, this is something that they have been anticipating. And Ben Johnson did them the favor of turning down the Commander's job and coming back home for one more year. They should already know. They should have known all season and who was next in line, and whoever it was should have been standing next to Ben Johnson the entire time. So the Aaron Glenn hire is slightly more of a surprise, but that shouldn't have been a surprise either. Like, you should have already had somebody in there waiting to get it done because you knew this was coming. So if they, I guess because of that, and I guess it could be the wrong person, but because of that, I'm a little less concerned. But yeah, we saw the Ravens lose their guy, and they took a minute to get it together on defense, and they figured it out eventually.
The Eagles had a down year after losing both of their guys last year. Right. And then the counterpoint, the Buccaneers with Liam Cohen, their offense was totally fine losing Dave Canales. And Canales was a really good coach for Bryce Young. So it's not like he proved to be a pumpkin. But, it's a guy from that same sort of scheme and tree.
Yeah. Next man up. Let's figure it out. I'm looking forward to see how crazy this division is going to be, because the Minnesota coaching staff did wonders. Brian Flores is probably going to get a gig here, if not already. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing like how these pieces are stacked up against each other. Now you can rank like who's the best GM in the division and who's the best head coach and who's the best coaching staff. It's tough. It's tough, but Dan Campbell is proving that He's always got a brother on speed dial to come coach for him or coach with him. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm down with it.
Wasn't it? The sun was out when we started doing this. I don't like how dark the New York sky is behind me. I feel like it's time to go. I can't be walking home in this weather. Do you want to hit some Eagles talk or shut it down, Charlie?
I got one last thing on the Eagles, because this one
you don't care about me.
No, definitely not. So I gotta get my cope in. So. I mean, the Eagles are, and I understand why, they are the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl right now. I know that's the perceived odds because they're 6-point favorites over the Commanders, and only one of the Chiefs and Bills can win, and it's really hard to handicap one of them as the favorite when the line is significantly closer. But deep down in your heart, does it make sense to you that the Eagles are the Super Bowl favorite? Knowing that the quarterbacks that are left are Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jaden Daniels, and Jalen Hurts, and one of them is not like the others.
Yeah, I mean, the Jaden Daniels is better than Jalen Hurts. That's where the advantage is for the Commanders stops. Like,
yeah, duh.
Right. So, like, I don't think he's so much better than Jalen Hurts that the rest of the advantages don't matter. Like, that to me is. And what it's going to require for them to slow down Saquon Barkley is going to put in a position where I think Jalen Hurts cannot fail. Like, he's going to have those corners who aren't good matched up against A.J. Brown, who has made it known, who has made it known that he is with the as they say. Y'all don't really want that. So, like, I don't know. I want to believe.
You do know.
Yeah.
You stop,
I just don't want to say it. I want to believe.
I want to believe. But stop playing around. The Commander's about to get dropped on their head.
I guess the only question is, do I think that the Eagles are better than the winner of Chiefs Bills, which is like, that's essentially where the conversation gets down to. And again, they still have, it's a similar situation where they have matchup advantages again. Just about at every position, except for like the quarterback.
And let's not act like we ain't see Jalen Hurts play his off in a Super Bowl already.
Yeah, we've seen it happen.
Like let's not.
We've seen it happen. But no, we've seen it happen. But that was back. That was back when they was calling that RPO rule a lot looser, and they was letting them linemen get 8 yards downfield. Since they changed that. Yeah. We ain't seen that version of that man in a while, and I don't know. Like
look at the consternation. Look at this is why Charlie asked the question. This is why he's sitting back
it's a
there
good question.
Smiling.
It's a good question.
The way he is. Listen. The Eagles have as much, if not more talent, 1 through 47, 1 through 53 as anybody left. That's the reason why. That's the reason why. And if you were with the whole football teams and it's more than one man, then that's the reason why. And on top of it, it ain't like this is some, charity case at quarterback. Is he Dan Marino? Is he Warren Moon? Is he no, he's fine. Not that. He's fine. He's good. He's okay. And you could still run for touchdowns as he showed you in the divisional round. Like,
if his knee is all right. I mean,
I'm not about to sit here and this ain't about to be the celebrate Charlie Kravitz and the Washington Commanders conversation. The Philadelphia Eagles about to mop them up. They're about to get caught.
I'm sure this is the same conversation people were saying about Jared Goff in the Lions last week. We're playing Jared Goff again this week.
Stop playing. Stop playing. Tell big number 98 that.
Do you remember last month that jump cut that Jaden Daniels did that literally made Jalen Carter burst out laughing on that fourth down that he took it 29 yards down the sideline?
That was a great jump cut. Don't let him dive into them ribs again, though.
Hey, I was about to say, all it takes is one belly flop on that clavicle to end all of that. Okay?
Oh, man. Nolan Smith, too. Like,
Nolan Smith rules.
I love him. He's so fun to watch.
Hey, and if you didn't have Frankie Louvu headhunting people, maybe that game becomes. Hey, just give me this, Charlie. Tell me Jared Goff wasn't a different player after that hit.
No, he was.
He was
dog after that concussion.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
They ain't throw a flag. Louvu ain't break the rules. He probably got a FedEx at his locker, though. He probably got a FedEx. He had to pay that. No, I'm not mad at it. Hey, bring back headshots. Them ain't my kids. I'm here for the gladiators. Did you say, I don't think you said this, but I heard that ain't my CTE, which
Hey, you want the millions and the fame and the Instagram menu that comes along with this?
Instagram menu?
Yeah, you already know the vibes. You might have to have a little tapioca in your 50s, but
oh gosh,
you might have to put an air tag on you when you leave the house. But
Instagram menu?
You know the vibes.
I don't know the vibes, sir. I'll have you know.
I'm sorry.
I'm not a knower of the vibes. I heard about the vibes.
You know the MySpace menu. You know the Black Planet menu. Let's listen.
Yeah, I'm a little older. I'm a little older. Yeah.
You roam the plenty of fish streets. Let's listen.
I was on AIM messaging people who had away messages up because you know what? You're gonna answer my. I know that. 100%. I know that, but I know you gonna open up that sidekick and say, "What's up?"
Yeah. Per my last message, checking in at 3 a.m. You up? Sorry, Charlie. We didn't mean to devolve the conversation.
Charlie's gonna be there soon. He just need one chip, and he gonna be talking real crazy to everybody.
You in New Orleans
already. All
right. Appreciate you, Goff. Congratulations again. Good luck to you going forward. Any parting words?
Listen, the show sounded great. It looked great. You guys, I'm really, really happy for where the pod is. Hate that I missed it. You already saw, both of y'all saw the outfit that I had. And from the looks of things, I would have been as audacious as I always am. So
killed it.
Oh my God, I had it ready. But no, man, thank you again for the invite. I hadn't been in New York in forever, and I spent a good 13 hours there. Got myself a hookah and some short rib sliders. You know what I mean? I enjoyed myself. Yeah, I enjoyed myself. But yeah, man, I'm happy as always to come on the show and chop it up with y'all, man. And yeah, man, here's to the new year.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Charlie for writing the GNCD's Nuts joke for Mike Greenberg. Thank you to all the great producers. I love you, Paulville. We out.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.